Good morning, and welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West. Welcome to this community of comfort, connection, challenge, and caring. My name is Deb Ruesch, and as a member of the worship ministry team, I'm glad to be here with you this morning. If you are new to UU Church West, we want to give you an extra special welcome. Checking out a new spiritual community is a courageous act, even if in this time of virtual church. We would love to connect with you, so please leave us a message at visitor@uucw.org and we'll be in touch. Now, I'd like to introduce the many talented people who have contributed to this service. I would like to thank members Ann Heidkamp and Dale Yelich for their contributions today. I'd also like to recognize Christy Vosberg and Sarah Fry for our special music. Thanks to Jennifer Nicolosi, who you just heard, our lead music director, and Vicki Banville, our church administrator, for their assistance. Of course, I want to thank Dave Cicero, our director of Lifespan Education, who is with us on screen today. And last but not least, Kelly Bognar, our publications coordinator. We are so fortunate to have her behind-the-scenes skill and dedication in creating, producing, and managing the technology that makes these online services possible. Once again, Spirit always seems to bring me to the teachings that I most need to revisit when I coordinate these services. On behalf of our congregation and guests who have come together this morning, we welcome and thank you for being here with us today. And now, please join us for an opportunity to sing together Rainbow Connection, performed by Jennifer Nicolosi. The words are in your order of service.
Rainbows are visions Good morning. Please join me in reading our chalice lighting words. They're shared in the order of service, sent out each Thursday in advance of our online worship. And if you have a home chalice, please light yours as I light the one here with me that I share with you. Imagination is power, our human superpower. The power to envision a new way, a new day, a new creation, perhaps even a world transformed. How will we use this power? May our imagination serve the greater good, helping peace, equity, hope, and beauty come to all our neighbors. May the flame in this chalice shine imagination's power across our community and across the world. Imagine what you could be if given the opportunity. Well, I'd like to propose that the opportunity is there, as long as you can imagine it. In today's Story for All Ages, I'll share the real life story of someone who had a dream. And not everyone in her life had confidence that she could achieve it, but the right people in her life did. Perhaps most importantly, herself. May Among the Stars by Rhoda Ahmed. Illustrated by Stasia Burrington. Little May was a dreamer. They say that daydreamers never succeed, but little May was different. One day, May was working on an assignment for school about what she wanted to be when she grew up. What will you tell them, May? I'll tell them I want to see Earth. This is Earth, May, her mother said. The flowers, the grass, the forests, the mountains, we live on Earth. Oh, I know. But I want to see Earth from out there. That's an amazing plan, little May. Then you have to become an astronaut. That way you can see Earth from space. Astronaut? Do you think I could do that? Of course you can. If you can dream it, if you believe it and work hard for it, anything's possible. May asked her mom to take her to the library. She searched for books about space and astronauts. After dinner, May drew pictures of space, and she even made her own astronaut costume out of old orange curtains and cardboard boxes. Here May is really visualizing her future. And later she asked her dad, "How do I become an astronaut? It seems impossible." You'll find your way, May, because if you dream it and believe it and work hard for it, anything is possible. But space is so far away. Well, it's closer than you think, little May, and you may get there sooner than you think. That night, May had a happy dream. She was dancing in space, surrounded by billions of sparkling stars. Below her, she could see Earth floating and turning like a shining crystal ball. More visualization. The next morning, May told her parents about her dream. She wanted to tell everyone, and every time she talked about it, her eyes would light up. In the classroom, Miss Bell told everyone to stand in a line on the rug. Today we're all going to share our dreams about the future. What do you want to be? And what do you want to do when you grow up? Who wants to go first? I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a teacher. Football player. I want to be a mom. I want to go to space. I want to be an astronaut. Well, all the kids started laughing, and Miss Bell said, May, are you sure you don't want to be a nurse? Nursing would be a good profession for someone like you. Someone like you. I wonder what that meant. I don't want to be a nurse. I want to be an astronaut. May felt very disappointed. On her way home from school, May was quiet. She looked out the car window. Her world turned blue and cold. Nothing was the way it used to be. At home, May started crying. Miss Bell said I can't become an astronaut. What a silly thing to say, said her mother. She told me I should be a nurse instead, said May. Her mom wiped away her tears. My dear May, I hope you didn't believe her. Of course I believed her. She's my teacher. I'm sorry Miss Bell didn't encourage you, but she can't stop you. No one can stop you. Follow your dream, May, and go to space. Thank you, Mom. I promise when I get to space, I will wave to you and Dad from the spaceship. Her mom took her hand, and they started dancing. You must always repeat to yourself, if I can dream it, visualize it, if I can believe in it, and if I work hard for it, anything is possible. Well, May went on dreaming, believing, and working really hard. And guess what? She went to space and waved to her mom and dad on Earth. Well, May Carol Jemison always loved science and being outside looking up at the stars. She knew that one day she would travel to space. We heard and saw how she pictured herself doing that, even before she understood what accomplishing it would really take. In today's story, we also got a glimpse of the racism that might have prevented May from fulfilling her dream, were it not for her family's insistence that she pursue it anyway. May graduated from Chicago's Morgan Park High School in 1973 and enrolled at Stanford University at the incredible age of 16. She went on to become a medical doctor and worked for a brief time as a general practitioner before leaving to work with the Peace Corps as a medical officer in Liberia and Sierra Leone. When she returned home, May followed her childhood dream of going to space and was accepted to NASA's astronaut training program. She accomplished many firsts, including being the first African-American female astronaut. Traveling to space on the shuttle Endeavour in 1992, her lifelong dream finally came true. Today, she heads the Jemison Group, a technology consulting firm that she started, along with the Dorothy Jemison Foundation for Excellence, named after her educator mother. Now, I'm sure Dr. Jemison didn't visualize each one of her successes in advance, but focusing on one clear dream helped her make progress toward that goal, which in turn led to other opportunities. Isn't that how it usually works? Using our imagination, as little May did when daydreaming and making her own astronaut suit, can help us create whatever we want to happen in our life. This visualization technique has been well researched and its usefulness has been demonstrated. We'll learn more about its potential in our spiritual lives today. So start thinking about what you would like to make happen. The more specific you can be, the more likely it will become a reality.
Please join me now in singing together Imagine by John Lennon, another well-known and well-loved song that you may already be quite familiar with, although the lyrics and words are in your order of service. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
This soap has done so much for me. Our skin is...
Sorry, commercials and cats. That's what happens on live internet streaming. So now, if you would please, I invite you now to join me in the spirit of meditation and imagination. Find a comfortable position in your seat and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and try to find the restorative power of air and water in your breath. We must breathe to live, but our bodies also need water to survive, as we are made from more than 50% water. The air we breathe contains tiny droplets of water vapor. Can you feel them in your breath, flowing in and out of your body, like waves gently rolling in and out from the shore? Take in a deep breath with me now. And notice your feet on the floor. Feel your connection to the space where you are seated, grounded in the earth, connecting us to the generations who have gathered here before us, ancestors whose presence lingers in our sacred space. What dreams and visions did they pursue there? Now imagine these ancestors calling on us to create a new community at the start of this new year. What sort of community will we create? As we enter each new year, it commemorates the creation of the world. The new year is seen as an opportunity for new creation, a time to refresh and recreate ourselves and our communities, a new opportunity to fulfill our hopes and dreams for a better world. Ancient Hebrew tradition says that before the earth was created, the world was a wild ocean full of dangerous sea monsters. Our world may sometimes feel like a wild ocean. We may feel like we are fighting against impossibly strong sea monsters, but the waters within us are as mighty and powerful as the sea monsters, and that power runs in and through us with each breath in and each breath out. As we breathe, may we feel the rhythm of our breath, like the powerful waves crashing on the shores, turning and tumbling the largest boulders into the tiniest grains of sand. As we breathe in, may we feel the restorative power of air and water nourishing the cells of our bodies, giving us the power to pursue our wildest dreams for our community and our world. As you breathe, notice the sounds, in like the whistle of the mighty ocean, out like the crashing of the powerful waves. Let us breathe and make those sounds together now as we find our strength to begin the work of creation in this new year. And now our special music is called Daydream and will be performed by Christy Vosberg and Sarah Fry.
It is believing. Throughout history, those that believed spiritually and or believed in themselves were those whose beliefs came true. This isn't just made up gobbledygook here, this is real. Those that believed 100%, whatever they believed in, always came to pass. For instance, from the Bible, the Christian Daniel was ordered to pray to the king Darius, but refused and continued to pray to his God. Daniel was thrown into the lion's pit as punishment, but he never had fear because he fully and completely believed that God would protect him. As the Bible says, the next morning, Daniel emerged from the lion's pit unscathed. During Custer's last stand, the legendary Native American Crazy Horse had taken medicine from the tribe's spiritual leader. After the medicinal ceremony, he told Crazy Horse that bullets would not harm him. Knowing this, Crazy Horse rode out in front of the warriors and crossed the front of the soldiers at near point-blank rifle range as they all fired at him. It would have been suicide for anyone else to do this, but Crazy Horse was not once hit. The warriors charged, and the Battle of the Little Bighorn was over. For me, I didn't believe in anything growing up except family. The only thing I ever dreamed for my future was wanting to be a writer. But since I couldn't type, I still can't. I didn't know how to make it possible. Then my parents died. They were no longer there to watch my back, and as a young adult I began to drift. I drifted into a bad marriage. My son was disabled. I lost my job, and my life looked bleak. I was alone. No one to help me, no one to guide me, and no one to comfort me. It was beginning to look like, well, maybe this was the end, if you know what I mean. One night, I couldn't take it anymore, and sitting in the darkness and alone in my attic bedroom, I had a breakdown. I was damning the world, damning life, and damning my own existence. In one final plea, I needed to believe. I screamed out to my mom and dad, "If you are there, if you are still watching over me, if you still love me, I need a sign." And then at the top of my lungs, I wailed, "I need a sign right now." At that very instant, an impossibility happened. The table lamp switched on. There was light. It was them, and they were still with me as I broke down with sobs of joy. I never stopped believing after that. I began to visualize and believe that I was going to get a great job, and 5 years later, I became a facilities manager, a ranger at a Girl Scout camp, arguably the best job I've ever had. I believed I would find the woman of my dreams, and I met Deb. And I always believed I would be a writer. And computers with the internet made that dream come true. After all, you don't need to type, you just need spell check. Truly, for whatever you want to do in life, it is believing. Go Pack!
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Dale. Thank you. So I have to say, I apologize for this crazy visual you're having of us here at our house during the opening walkthrough. I'm talking with Kelly and Dave and realizing, they said, well, looks like you have your glamour shot on with all the fuzzy fading, but couldn't for the life of me get the visual to be more crisp. So hopefully the words will speak to you. The concept of creative visualization is fairly widespread nowadays, but it was not always so. Today it seems with the continued research and education about the mind-body connection, it has held its place as being far more mainstream. But what exactly is creative visualization? I looked to Wikipedia to see their definition, but in my humble opinion, it was far too formal and technical. Instead, I turned to my original teacher on this subject, whose then groundbreaking work has stood the test of time. Shakti Gawain was a best-selling author and a pioneer in the field of personal growth and consciousness. From her classic work, Creative Visualization, Use the Power of Your Imagination to Create What You Want in Your Life, she offers this practical perspective and welcoming invitation. There is nothing at all new, strange, or unusual about creative visualization. You're already using it every day, every minute, in fact. It is your natural power of imagination, the basic creative energy of the universe, which you use constantly, whether or not you are aware of it. To use creative visualization, it is not necessary to believe in any spiritual or metaphysical ideas, though you must be willing to entertain certain concepts as being possible. It is not necessary to have faith in any power outside of yourself. The only thing that is necessary is that you have the desire to enrich your knowledge and experience, and an open enough mind to try something new in a positive spirit. So in short, creative visualization is the process of visualizing what you want to achieve in order to create or attract it. People will often incorporate creative visualization along with the use of positive affirmations, vision boards, hypnosis, meditation, deep breathing, or exercises in stillness, whether you sit or move, writing, or dreaming and daydreaming just like May. But it must be done periodically and regularly. You must make the time to envision that which you desire. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, American surgeon, authored Psycho-Cybernetics, a system of ideas he claimed to lead to an improved self-image, which he felt was the cornerstone to leading a more successful and fulfilling life. Now, interestingly, he was a cosmetic surgeon, so the self-image aspect surely factored directly into his livelihood. But his formula of prescribing a system of ideas to provide self-help through a book made him a forerunner in the self-help movement. Dr. Maltz titled one of his chapters, "The Winning Feeling." In it, he wrote, "If you are visualizing but not feeling anything, that is a sign you haven't tapped into the emotional component necessary to activate this practice effectively." Now, I am not a doctor, nor have I ever played one on TV, or anywhere else for that matter. However, I do know from my decades of experience on this planet that many people swear by the effectiveness of creative visualization in their personal and professional lives. We hear about sports figures who use it to help them finish the race, win the game, or bring home the trophy. Many athletes rely on visualization techniques regardless of the sport, and they're taught by sports psychologists and performance coaches. They often call it mental training. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian, also known as the Baltimore Bullet or the Flying Fish, used this practice to help him win a total of 28 medals, 23 of which were gold. Green Bay's MVP and our favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, has been using visualization ever since his 6th grade coach taught him this practice. It's pretty clear that it continues to work well in his and our favor. Of course, with left tackle Dave Bakhtiari out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, we can only hope that Rodgers has adjusted his vision for winning accordingly. We can all help him with our visioning, I think. The term shadow boxing actually illustrates this very thing. Boxers have used this training tool for years to box against their shadow, envisioning it to be their opponent. This incorporates the movements you would utilize in the upcoming match, and it puts you in the emotional space of accomplishing the very outcome you so deeply desire. You're going through the motions as you picture it, and you can feel it. Emotion, in fact, stands for energy in motion. Shadow boxing has been used by top salespeople, performers, entrepreneurs, speakers, surgeons, and many others, as well as athletes. So, just as the story that Dave shared spoke to, creative visualization is a bit like daydreaming. It is fun, it's easy, it's free, and it can be used at any point along the continuum of a success that you want to achieve. Wisdom from our greatest sages support the power that creative visualization seems to have on outcomes. Confucius said, "The man who says he can and the man who says he cannot, both are correct." Or perhaps one of the greatest masters of our time will help bring this point home more clearly. From a 2014 behind-the-scenes article on his work, actor Christian Simpson said it was this quote from Yoda that helped him to see himself getting what would become a number of roles in the Star Wars films. And I'm sure most of you know this quote well and might even have a t-shirt inscribed with these words of wisdom. No, try not, do or do not. There is no try. No truer words have been spoken. Simpson went on to say, but that is the real point. When we use creative visualization to truly see in our mind's eye, through the unadulterated eyes of a youngster, the true and positive outcome we want to achieve before we even start down the path of ever achieving it, unbeknownst to our conscious mind, that belief shapes our own interactions with others as we take the belief with us along that path, including the gatekeepers who might otherwise disbelieve and thus stand in our way. He goes on to share dialogue from the movie that supports this belief. Luke says, "What's in there?" Yoda replies, "Only what you can take with you." But because we believe it and we see it, so do they, and so the gate is opened for us. So when Luke says, "I can't believe it," Yoda replies, "That is why you fail." You can check out the highly revered Wikipedia to read more about the many ways Simpson went on to become involved in the Star Wars enterprise as a result of believing it would be, and as Dale so aptly shared in his reading today. As Yoda said, do or do not. There is no try. Which brings me to another point that I need to make about creative visualization. It's not a silver bullet or a super simple and magical panacea for a complicated problem. While the spiritual practice of creative visualization is a tool you can use to help you accomplish things or achieve goals, in addition to being able to see in your mind's eye what you desire, you must also do the legwork required to get you where you want to go. So, how does one go about beginning a creative visualization spiritual practice? I will share with you Shakti Gawain's 4 basic steps for effective creative visualization. This was my tried and true when I was learning about it many years ago. And there are many teachings on this out there that you can tap into, but this is a good starting point. Number 1, set your goal. Decide on something you would like to have or work toward that you'd like to realize or create. It could be on any level. It could be a job, a house, a relationship, a happier state of mind, more prosperity, improved health, better family relations, or solving a problem in your community. But what you must remember is that you can only use this practice to affect change in yourself. So if you're hoping to create change within a system, such as your family or community, it can only come as the result of working on and through you. But she goes on to note that at first goals are fairly easy. You would want to choose goals that are fairly easy for you to believe in initially, because that way you will feel like they are attainable. And you won't have to deal with as much negative resistance in yourself. And you can maximize the feelings of success as you are learning the skill of using creative visualization. And then later, as you have more practice, you take on more challenging problems and issues and such. So her second step, she recommends, is creating a clear idea or picture. You create a mental image, and she again speaks of the feeling. You want to get to the feeling of the object or situation exactly as you want it. The more clarity you have, the better. Think of it in the present tense as if you already have it. And imagine yourself in the situation as you desire it now. And again, include as many details as you can. You may wish to make an actual physical picture of it as well, like a treasure map or a vision board, collage, whatever you like to call it. This is an optional step, of course, but it's a fun practice and one that I actually used to do every year around this time, although it can certainly be done any time in your life as you are so moved. The third step she writes about is to focus on it often. Bring your idea or mental picture to mind often, both in quiet meditation periods and also casually throughout the day when you think of it. In this way, it becomes an integrated part of your life and it becomes more of a reality for you. Again, if you can do something in a shadow boxing way where you're physically going through the motions of that which you would be doing or seeing yourself doing or achieving or having, that can build some muscle memory, as they say, cell memory, and help it integrate more fully into your body and your mind. So you focus on it clearly, yet in a light, relaxed way, because it's important not to feel like you're striving too hard for it or putting an excessive amount of energy into it, as that would tend to hinder it rather than help it. Finally, she says you should give it positive energy. As you focus on your goal, I didn't think about, when I was focusing on my goal of this today, I didn't think about the cat coming in front of me constantly. Please move over, sir. As you focus on your goal, think about it in a positive, encouraging way. Make strong, positive statements to yourself that it exists, that it has come or is now coming to you. See yourself receiving or achieving it. These positive statements are called affirmations. And while you use them, try to temporarily suspend any doubts or disbelief you may have, at least for the moment, and practice getting the feeling that what you desire is very real and possible. And I do know affirmations are always best used in a way that states, for example, I am happy, as compared to I will soon be much happier. You always want it in the first person, present tense, and clarity about what it is that you want, that you already have it. So continue to work on this process until you achieve your goal or no longer have the desire to do so, because goals can change before they're realized, and that's a perfectly natural part of the human process of change and growth. So don't try to prolong it any longer than you have energy for it. If you lose interest, it may mean it's time for a new look at what you want. If you find a goal has changed for you, be sure to acknowledge that to yourself. Get clear in your mind that you're no longer focusing on your previous goal. End the cycle of the old, begin the cycle of the new. This helps you avoid feeling confused or angry like you failed, or you've simply changed. You've changed what you're seeking. When you achieve a goal, be sure to acknowledge consciously to yourself that it has been completed. Often we achieve things that we have been desiring and visualizing, and we forget to even notice that we have succeeded. So give yourself some appreciation and a pat on the back, and be sure to give thanks to Spirit, God, the universe, or however you choose to name all that is, for the fulfillment of your requests. In closing, I'm going to put on my Captain Obvious hat and state that I'm fairly certain we have all gone down the path of using our creative visualization in a relatively unconscious way at some point or other in our lives. So my wish for you today is this: when you start thinking about that which is lacking, limited, difficult, or problematic in your life, you will remember, I hope you will remember, that there are many spiritual practices that you can tap into, and perhaps using creative visualization in a directed, positive way will become a tool of empowerment on your journey in 2021. May all the good that you hold in your heart come to you tenfold, and may you be blessed in this new year and beyond. Namaste.
UU Church West Split the Plate program is one of outreach and generosity. Each month, we give half of all undesignated offerings to a nonprofit organizations to help us live out our UU values and serve our community. African American babies in Milwaukee are 3 times more likely to die before their first birthday than white babies. Any loss of a young life is heartbreaking, but the large number of African American infant deaths is indeed a tragedy. Responding to this crisis is Maroon Calabash, a Black radical reproductive justice organization. Maroon Calabash offers support across the spectrum of reproductive experiences at the intersection of modern medicine and Black cultural traditions. They provide inclusive community midwifery care tailored to meet each individual's needs from preconception, pregnancy, birth, and throughout the postpartum years. To support Maroon Calabash at any time this month, go to the UUCW website's Donate tab and select Split the Plate from the menu provided. Or you can text or mail your donation today using the information found here. Today, I thank you for your generosity to Maroon Calabash.
In closing, I would just like to read a quote by C.S. Lewis. "You are never too old," and I will add, or too young, to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Blessings on your day.